What's up, family? It is Kaden with Urban Finance. I wanted to make a quick video to just let you know that I sold two of the stocks in my portfolio, two stocks that I did plan to hold for the long term. And actually, I think I said in one video that I'll probably hold these stocks until it goes down to zero, even if it goes down to zero. But I end up selling out of them, and I'll explain why I sold out of those stocks in this video, as well as two stocks that I picked up. I won't necessarily say that these two stocks are replacements because I may or may not swing trade these, and that for me essentially means that I may sell it within the next year. If you're new to this channel, I talk about everything related to financial literacy, investing, and urban finance. And urban finance is literally anything I feel like talking about, if I'm being honest. So if you haven't already, go ahead and smash the like button. It really helps out to the channel. Subscribe to the page and hit the bell to be notified of when I post something new. All right, let's jump in. So these were actually two of the larger positions in my portfolio. And so the first stock is JD.com. And as you can see here, JD.com is down 2.78%. I didn't sell it because it was down, because I still think this is an amazing company. It has good fundamentals. The reason that I sold it is because of news that came out, I want to say late Friday. At least that's when I found out about it. As you can see here, the House is set to vote on a bipartisan legislation that would impose restrictions on Chinese companies listed on U.S. exchanges, including require a certification that they're not under control of foreign government. The bill sponsors say that it aims to ensure foreign companies traded in America are subject to the same independent audits required that applies to U.S. firms. In doing so, the measure threatens to boot Chinese companies, including behemoths like Alibaba Group, Baidu, and I would say JD.com out of the US stock market. In all transparency, I have no intention of trading these stocks if it's only available for over-the-counter trading. And so for me personally, I do not want to be caught holding these stocks if this vote goes through and if these companies don't comply to US regulations. Now, I do think that these companies will potentially try to do everything that they can, but I do not know. And because of this news, while normally, because I really like these companies, I would try to buy dips on bad news, there's a difference for me between bad news and a company potentially getting the boot from American stock markets. And that is why I sold out of all of my positions in JD.com and all of my positions in Alibaba. If the vote goes through, it is approved, and these companies do comply with it, then I would consider picking these companies back up. But I do not want to ride out the volatility, especially one where I am uncertain about what the future of these companies would be on the US stock exchange. And that's just my own personal preference. So that's why I chose to sell out my shares of both JD.com and Alibaba. Two companies that I really wanted to go long term in, and two companies other than the S&P 500 where I was anticipating putting a lot of my capital, if not most of my capital. And I'm not above taking speculative bets on companies that I do think have a bright future, which I do think these two companies have a bright future. One, I don't have the money to average down like I would like to, even if the news hits significantly and people sell off of these companies. So that's the first thing for me. I really can't average down to the degree that I would need to. And the second thing is I really don't know what the future of these companies would be. On the other side of it, I am not opposed to speculative investments on companies that I do think have a bright future. And so you may recall that I picked up three stocks in the medical plant industry that I believe that will be benefited from an election. And all of those stocks has performed really well. One of them I sold out at 100% gain. That was Aurora. And I actually reinvested some of that money back into Afria, which I'm holding right now at a 54% gain, as well as CGC, which I'm holding at a 38% gain. And so that news were potentially positive news. This news is negative news where I'm not sure of the future of these companies. And very quickly, because I don't want this video to be too long, these are the two companies that I picked up, and I will explain more of these companies in a future video. But one of them is Nano Dimension, and that particular company has also offered additional public offerings of their shares, which means that honestly, I feel like it will even drop from the price that I bought it back down to maybe $5, where I would pick up more shares. I'm currently holding 35 shares of Nano Dimension. And the second company is Zynga, which is a online video gaming company. And so that's games that people may play on their phones, and they're actually connected with Facebook at one point. But that's the second company that I picked up. I picked up 50 shares of that, and I'll probably add additional shares. I try to acquire at least 100 shares of each company that I'm holding in my portfolio. So those are the two companies that I picked up, Zynga and Nano Dimension. And like I said, I do think Nano Dimension stock may go down in the short run because of the additional offerings that they had, but in the long run, I do think that this company had a bright future, and I think it's betting on the future. And so, you know, if it does really well, I'll be excited about that. Like I said, I'll make another video going more in depth with those two companies and why I chose to pick them up. If you haven't already, smash that like button. It really helps out the page. Subscribe, hit the bell to be notified of when I post something new. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. And even in the midst of these crazy times, God bless you and make sure you're living your best life.